This video is sponsored by Keeps. Alright, man. I feel like right about now, we're at that midway point with the NBA playoffs, so this video just feels about right. As you guys should know, I put out a bracket like 3 weeks ago, and it aged pretty bad, like extremely bad. And as I already knew what happened, exactly why I said I didn't want to make that video, y'all let me know about it in my DMs, on that video, etc. And those type of videos that age bad, they're not exactly L's for losses, they're L's for lessons, and that's exactly what this video is about. Now, speaking of stuff aging bad and the lessons we can learn from them, let me shout out today's video sponsor, a good old friend of the channel, Keeps. Now, the studies say 2 out of every 3 guys, we're going to experience some form of male pattern baldness by the age of 35. And if you don't believe those studies, just look at the older remaining players in the playoffs right now. The best way to attack a common problem like hair loss is to get on it early. You never want to be reactive in life. You always want to be proactive. Keeps, they actually offer a licensed doctor that will look at your information online and recommend a specific treatment plan for you. Then after all that stuff is sorted out, they ship your medication to your front door every 3 months. You don't even gotta leave the house anymore, bruh. Also, with their doctors, you have 24/7 access to message them and ask questions and concerns that you may have about your journey. So they're literally with you in the process. Lastly, they offer generic versions of their FDA approved medications, which ultimately makes their products a lot more affordable. If you care about your hair like I do, visit keeps.com/swishout or just click the link in my description. They're offering 50% off, half off of your first order, but it doesn't get much better than that. Big shout out to Keeps for sponsoring this video and always looking out for my guys' hair. And let's get into this video.
What could you say just about the trajectory of this organization, you know, considering with the development of the young players and the guys you have under contract for next season coming back?
We're trending in the right direction. We're going to learn from this. We're going to get better. We're going to come back. We're going to come back. We'll be back, as we were all saying in that locker room.
The Miami Heat, man. The team that really made me look bad. The Miami Heat fooled me into believing that they were this legitimate team that just wasn't healthy. And although that may be the case to some extent, they're still not the team that we seen last year in the bubble, like not even close. Earlier this season, when I made this exact video, I said I wouldn't call the Miami Heat frauds. I would just say they were extreme beneficiaries of the system. Philly had no Ben Simmons. The Nets didn't have Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving. The Raptors, they didn't have Kawhi Leonard, the reigning finals MVP. I mean, it was just wide open and they took advantage of it. I'm still not going to completely discredit that run because they took advantage of it, but we knew what that was about. Also, this playoffs, it taught me the true definition of playoff basketball. And I ain't talking bubble playoff basketball, the scrimmage like playoff basketball last. Now I'm talking about true NBA playoffs basketball. In a traditional normal year, somewhat like this playoffs, you have travel, you have crowds, you have crazy fans, and often these hostile ass environments that you have to up your performance in. And some players can do it and some players can't. I think Julius Randle, at least this year, I mean, I gotta get on him. He's a clear example of that. Julius had somewhat of that Kevin Love syndrome where he can play his ass off, put up these crazy numbers, do these crazy things when there's not really much expectations. But if you start expecting that, especially in big moments when everyone's watching, you might be a little disappointed. I picked the Knicks in that specific series because I thought the addition of Derrick Rose, who completely changed life on that team, Julius Randle, who was in the MVP, but never forget, bro, he was in an MVP conversation and he had he had a good argument, bro. He completely changed the team. And that defensive team that they were, I thought they had a chance to really beat the Hawks at least in 7, bro. They lost in 5. When your most valuable player candidate damn near turns into like the least valuable, I guess, big name player in this series, you really don't have a chance, and that's what happened with the Knicks. Now next, Trae Young is a lot better than I think a lot of people gave him credit for. And I get it. Trae Young's style, it really isn't pleasing to a lot of die-hard basketball fans because we know how Trae Young plays. It's almost like that little kid that plays with the bigger kids and he's so small that they allow him to double and travel and run with the ball, and it's like he's spamming it. It's like, damn, bro, like eventually play real basketball. And that's how some people feel about Trae Young. Nevertheless, even if you feel that way, you have to give him his credit. He went to a hostile New York environment, Madison Square Garden, where they were spitting on him and all this stuff, and he owned them, and now he's neck and neck with the best team, at least record-wise, in the East for an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. So you got to give him that. And not to mention, Trae Young is playing on a team that's undermanned and no one expected to be there. He's playing against a player that some people believe is the real defensive player of the year with Ben Simmons. He's playing against a team that has 3 all-defensive players on their team, Matisse Thybulle, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid. And they have the MVP candidate with Joel Embiid. So that's tough, bro. You got to give him that. LeBron James just simply isn't what he used to be. And I've said this in multiple videos, and that is okay. Literally, it's humanity kicking in. 3 weeks ago, I made a video and I said this, and literally right after I said this, Colin Cowherd got on TV and said this exact thing. I mean, it's crazy, bro. Great minds must think alike. But LeBron James, he's literally at this phase in his career where Tom Brady was in 2019 with the Patriots. Yes, he's still top tier, and yes, he's still great. To me, he's still great enough to be the driving factor on a championship team. But he can no longer carry garbage, mediocre parts like he once could. Just like Tom Brady, he couldn't carry mediocre receivers like he did back in the day, and that's why he went to Tampa Bay, where they had adequate pieces to fit that specific phase in his career. I know this has been like the theme of LeBron's career for like the last 5 or 6 seasons, but if the Lakers want to extend the back 9 of LeBron's prime or LeBron's career, you're going to have to give that man more help. Like you just have to. Chris Paul is having like the weirdest y'all forgot about me / return / I'm gonna make people start making dumbass lists, leaving Steph Curry out my top 5. Just the weirdest career comeback that I've probably ever seen this season. Last year, we all remember how spectacular CP3 was with a OKC team that no one had expectations for. We remember that ESPN graphic where they gave him like a 0.3 chance to even make the playoffs. But this year, it was kind of the same thing. We respected the Suns. We knew it was going to be fun, but we didn't think it was going to be this good. And just a quick disclaimer for people that's trying to discredit Chris Paul's run this playoffs. Yes, they're playing teams with injuries and all that, but let's not forget Stephen Curry's first year winning a championship. They literally played teams without their starting point guard every single round. Like, let's not start that. It's a part of the game. Chris Paul, to me, he has the absolute perfect game for the NBA playoffs, and it's really for one reason. Unlike a lot of players in the NBA, a lot of stars, a lot of players that play different styles and all that, Chris Paul's bread and butter and really what he banks on, it will never go away in the playoffs, even with the intensity of the NBA playoffs. Like, it just doesn't go away. No disrespect to these players, because I know some of y'all gonna get butthurt over this, but I really don't care. Y'all know how Russell Westbrook, he kind of relies on fast tempo and extremely athletic play in the regular season, and kind of in the playoffs, he kind of gets exposed because his half-court game isn't the best and the game slows down and things like that. And James Harden, even though I think his game is actually conducive for playoff success, as we've seen earlier this year, especially when he has the right pieces. Y'all know how in 2017, he was in the MVP conversation. He led Houston to the 3rd seed with this bad team, mainly because he shot all these free throws and got all these ridiculous free throw attempts and all that. And then in the playoffs, it really didn't translate that well. Even players that I love, like Steph and Dame, they shoot these crazy shots and they're great at them, but when those shots really aren't falling, typically they're not having great games. And to be honest, those are low percentage shots. It's just that they make them look so damn easy. My point is, the reason Chris Paul's game, it translates so easy in the playoffs is because exactly what he mastered. He runs these pick and rolls against these drop coverage defenses, which pretty much gives him all the leverage and all the space to do exactly what he banks off of. Giving Chris Paul a mid-range shot is damn near like giving him a layup, and he's going to abuse that every single time. For his size and for his structure and his position, bro, he has the most efficient play style in the NBA. Hence why in a playoff series, He's able to average ridiculous splits for anybody's size, but especially for a guy that's 6 feet tall, like that shouldn't even be happening.
Offensively, you took it up to another notch, and particularly with that mid-range game. How important is the mid-range game still in the game of basketball?
It's important to me. You know, some years ago, when I played with the Clippers, the whole league went to this drop defense. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's what y'all gonna give up. I'm gonna try to perfect it.
Luka Doncic obviously just had yet another great playoff series against a tough-ass team. But it feels like already, he's only been there 3 seasons, he's putting the pressure on the Dallas Mavericks, and to be honest, the time is ticking. Now, in no way am I advocating or even saying that Luka would leave or anything like that, but when a player is that good, clearly good enough to compete with any player this league has to offer, you have all the pressure as an organization to put adequate talent around him because he's just been that good. If you don't, bro, you're literally failing him. Like, you're failing him as an organization and ruining his career. It's almost similar to this. And I know Luka was drafted, traded for whatever by Dallas and all that, but it's pretty much just like this. If a free agent that's clearly good enough to be a championship player on a championship team, if he picks a specific organization and that team doesn't build the best team around him to win a championship, yet he still plays to that championship style of level, bro, the team is failing him. He didn't fail you, you failed him. That's pretty much the predicament that Luka's in. Even if you don't think he's top 5, just the fact that he's 22 years old and he's in that conversation in this league where a top 10 is damn near impossible, bro, that's enough. Find a way to get this man some true help, get off of Porzingis' bad contract and get this man some playmaking help, or don't cry if he leaves because he's clearly good enough. Kevin Durant, bro, to me, it's just clear, bro. He's the best player on the planet. With the Brooklyn Nets this year, this playoffs, literally the only thing that's been consistent is Kevin Durant. Even with the tweaks in the lineup, even with playing with Kyrie, then Mike James, then James Harden playing on one leg, all this stuff, Kevin Durant has this team up 3-2 against a team that's been the best team in the East, at least record-wise, for the last 3 years. Literally, if this man can get some consistent help through these games, whether it's a star, Kyrie or James Harden, or role players with Jeff Green, Joe Harris, and Bruce Brown, Blake Griffin, whatever, if he gets some help, you literally have a chance. He's that good. On the other hand, with the Milwaukee Bucks, bruh, if they lose this series, which is very possible, they can still win, but if they lose this series, this is going to be one of the worst playoff meltdowns to me that I could remember, like ever. Bro, last year, you're playing in the East without Ben Simmons on Philly. Like, Philly was really a mess all last year. They had Al Horford, bad fits. I mean, it was just terrible. So that you could just eliminate them. The Nets, they didn't have KD and Kyrie. The Celtics, I mean, they had Gordon Hayward coming in and out of the lineup. It was all messed up with them too. The Raptors, the player that destroyed you, Kawhi Leonard, he literally left the conference. And you lost to the 5th seed in the 2nd round in embarrassing fashion. Then this year, bruh. You keep Giannis, you sign him to a Supermax contract, which I'm going to make a whole video about the decision if they lose. Like, I have to. You upgrade from Eric Bledsoe with Jrue Holiday. Everybody said that was cool. Okay, cool. You run into the Nets in the 2nd round, and James Harden gets hurt literally like 5 seconds into the game, so it's wide open right there. Then you still fall down 0-2, which is kind of embarrassing to be honest. But then the NBA guys, they still love you, so they give you another, like they still bless you. Kyrie, and I hate to call that a blessing, but for your team it was. Kyrie Irving gets injured and you win game 4, cool. Then in game 5, you up 17 points in the 3rd quarter and you still lose? I didn't even mention that last year they had the MVP, the best record, and the Defensive Player of the Year on their team, and they still lost to the 5th seed. I didn't even mention that in 2019 they had the best record, got up 2-0 against the Raptors in the Eastern Conference Finals, and folded in the next 4 games. I didn't even mention that in 2018, and I forgot about this. They played a Boston team without Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward and lost. I don't care if Giannis was young. I don't care if Giannis was young, undeveloped. Jason Tatum was a rookie, bro. He was a rookie. And they lost in the 1st round to a team without their 2 best players. Like, it is something wrong with this team. This part wasn't even supposed to be in this video, bro. Like, I literally seen what happened last night, and I had to get on 2 people's heads, specifically Doc Rivers and Ben Simmons. First of all, I have to apologize to that Wizards announcer because right after he went on TV and said that about Ben Simmons, I immediately called him an idiot. And to be honest, he was brilliant. I was the idiot. I'm done with Ben Simmons. Like, I'm completely done. I feel like the only thing Ben Simmons has improved in since he entered this league is the fact that he takes more pride in defense. He takes pride in being 6'10" and bothering little point guards and being able to guard all 5 positions. That is literally the only thing I think he's improved on. His free throw shooting, especially in the playoffs where it really counts, it's drastically gotten horrific. Like, literally, it's gotten worse progressively. In 2018, this man shot 70% from the free throw line. That's actually pretty great for Ben Simmons. Then the year after that, it got down to 57%, which that's cause for concern. You don't want him shooting somewhere near Shaq 50, 45%. That's Andre Drummond like. Then this year, he's worse than Shaq and Andre Drummond, bruh. He's shooting 30% from the free throw line. Like, he's damn near unplayable at times late in the stretch because he can't hit a damn free throw. Also, it feels like he's gotten like a little bit comfortable not improving and not really being aggressive when it's needed. Last night, in the second half, this man took 1 shot, and typically, I defend him and say, no, he's playing with Tobias Harris, Danny Green, Joel Embiid, and they pretty much have a system where he doesn't really need to shoot this many shots. Like, he's playing a Draymond role and all that. But last night, Tobias Harris was pretty much off. Last night, Joel Embiid was pretty much doing everything by himself with Seth Curry. And in the second half, even though he's physically bigger than damn near everybody on Atlanta, he doesn't even attack the basket. It's like he's not even trying anymore. He doesn't even try. Look at how up and down this man's second halves have been, specifically in this series alone. And to be honest, I can argue in this series, they need him to be more aggressive, because if you look at Atlanta, they don't have anyone that can stay in front of Ben Simmons when he really wants to be aggressive. The problem is, even if he gets to the free throw line, he just can't capitalize on it, so it really doesn't even matter. Also, Doc Rivers, and check my channel, bro. Please check my channel. I've been on this, even back when my voice was light and I was making them dumbass videos in 2017. I've been telling y'all, Doc Rivers is the most overrated coach I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Everywhere he's been, it's like his teams have these all-time type of meltdowns. Even last year, I made a video saying the Clippers ignored their biggest problem, and it was always Doc Rivers. Look at this man's record. Like, look at this man's resume since he won that championship with Tom Thibodeau basically being the assistant/head coach. Look at his resume. It's all, even before that, it's like all-time meltdown type of stuff everywhere he's been. Like, to be honest with you, I don't think he deserves a job. Like, I just don't. It's no way you can continuously do this and continuously get hired. It's not even fair. And look at the Clippers right now, bro. Look at the Clippers right now. Even when they fell down 0-2 both times, you know the biggest difference between this year and last year? They made adjustments. They literally made adjustments. They took Zubac out, put Batum in Dallas series, did the same thing against Utah. They made adjustments. Even when Kawhi Leonard was hurt, they made adjustments and won last night's game. Like, Ty Lue actually makes adjustments, hence why he came back from down 3-1, and he came back from down 0-2 twice. Doc Rivers is impossible. And lastly, I gotta talk about the damn state of the NBA right now. Right now, as it stands, we could possibly have 7, 8, maybe 9 players, like star players, that miss time in the NBA playoffs. And that's ridiculous. Adam Silver, I know it's tough because he's trying to please greedy ass, money hungry ass owners that still want to make their money, so they want these games to keep going on. They don't really care about the players and all that. And you're trying to please the players because they care about their bodies, yet they're still trying to get paid and they don't want to take pay cuts and things like that. But you have to find a way to maneuver this schedule where these players, they can still sustain this level of play and not get injured when you get down the season, because that's hurting the product. If you guys like this video, and matter of fact, pause, bro. If you made it this far in this long ass, drug out ass video I was rapping, comment who you think is gonna win in how many games. Like, I think the Nets in 6 or something like that. So I would say Nets in 6, say Suns in 6, whatever you think, but just Jazz and whatever. Just do that for me to let me know that you made it this far, bro. That's some real ass stuff, and I appreciate that. Like I say, man, follow my social media sites, turn on post notifications, do all that great stuff, guys. And until next time, as always, stay tuned.